Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh Bashem, Yahushai Bashem, Rakakwadash, Shalom to the 144,000 and rest of the elect out there, Shalom to you all. And I'm going to title this video, I asked the chat, who were the Hebos in the American slave trade? So we have here, there appears to be some confusion or a typo in your question. Hebos is not a recognized term in historical scholarship related to the American slave trade. However, let's explore a few possibilities of what you might be referring to if Hebrews is a misspelling or a phonetic variation. Ebos, which Ebo, the Ebo people are the Hebrew people, the Israelites. The Ebo people sometimes pronounce Ebo or Heebo. Let me show you something here. Heebo is the way they said it. Ebo, you still use the term Ebo. The white man, when the slaves first got, the Jakes first got over here and put on auction blocks, they were known as the Heebo. And then Negroes came later, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go here and look up the word Heebo. Yeah, the truth is coming out on you devils. Okay, let me see here. I wanted to go to the Google. Hebos. Let me see. Let me put in for sale. Hebos for sale. Look at this. You got all these different cars and whatnot. Okay, here we go. Look what they put up there. Fake Hebrew Israelites. There's an actual sign during the time of slavery. It used to be all over. Like you wouldn't see all this other crap. I've been the second Hebos photo. I've seen the second Hebos photo everywhere, and I just thought I should point out that it's fake. Find Hebos. You can hardly read it. Then it was updated, if I can get the date. Then they started calling us Negroes. There it is, Hebos, which goes back to Ebo, which goes back to the Hebrews. There it is, Hebos again. This is a fulfillment of prophecy, Deuteronomy 28. Hebos equal Hebo equal Ebu, Ebo, Israelite. Judah awakened 28. Let me open this up. Why doesn't the Quran call God Yah? The Tetragrammaton. I can hardly even see this. Let me see if I can open it up. Heebo's. Heebo's. And then zoom into the slave coast. So now they're saying that sign right here. It said to be sold on board the ship. Whatever, I can hardly see it. May doesn't give you a year. 450 fine, healthy, fine Hebos. You know, these Edomites have a problem with us because we teach that they're going into slavery. He that leadeth into slavery, captivity shall go into captivity. Like vocab would say, that's not talking about actual slavery. Okay. Okay, this is has to be African map. Jerusalem, Jebus, Bethlehem. I'm trying to see what. Okay, I guess this is actually Israel. They had rewards for runaways. Now, $100 back then is equivalent to, okay, let's say 3,500. 35,000, half of 35,000 is we're talking about almost 20,000. I got to do the math. $100 was a lot of money because you're talking about based upon the gold standard. The true Hebrew Israelites just suffering the curses of Deuteronomy 28 doesn't fit these small hats. Now he looked like he could be your uncle. He looked like Jake. He don't look like no African. He looked like Jake. Let me open this up. You see Judah, I guess this is for short for Kingdom of Judah, K of Judah. Slave Coast. Judah again. I believe that's Waida, which is like, I believe it's a French way of saying Judah. These are the facts, ma'am. We are a great and noble people, but we're acting like a bunch of fools. The scattered Hebrews, tribe of Joseph, Hebrew anthropology. We're the Hebrews. Ancient Hebrews is Bantu. He looked like Gad. So let's come on back. Igbo people sometimes pronounce Igbo or Heebo. Heebo. Then later they were called Negroes. This is likely what you're referring to, the Igbo from present day southeastern Nigeria. You know, you got ISUPK talk, oh no, them are Hamites, them are dirty, stinking Hamites. It depends on what part of Africa you're talking about. Nigeria, just to mention one place, that's where they got a lot of the slaves. Those are Israelites. So who do you think the Nigerian people are over there today? Those are Israelites. I talk to Nigerians and they just like when you get to know them, they straight up Negroes. They just got a little bit of an accent. Their children are straight up Negroes, no accent. They hang out with Jake. They do. They just they were the ones that stayed and they didn't catch them. If they didn't catch you and put you in slavery, put you on a cargo slave ship, you made it. You know, you might have killed some Edomites or you ran away and got free. Guess what? When you died and came back, you got caught up. You might have got caught up. They might have took your mother and you were in her belly. So nobody escaped these curses. They didn't get you this time, they're gonna get you the next time. They're gonna get they're gonna get you today and your homeboy tomorrow. Inside joke. From present day southeastern Nigeria were among the many African ethnic groups captured and sold into slavery during, give me a second here. Excuse me. During the transatlantic slave trade, and some, what is there in Deuteronomy 28? It said they shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until thou be destroyed, right? Let me do this. Yoke of iron. Oh, that's talking about the Syrians. That's nope. The curse we suffered them curses under many captivities under different nations. There we go. I didn't look at that. That's a yoke. I believe that's a yoke of wood. Another yoke. We were shackled up. That's a yoke. There's a yoke too for cattle. LeVar Burton. Look at this, how this guy's standing there. He looked like Deontay Wilder. Look, that's Jake. That's Jake. That's Jake right there. They're not Africans, and they got chains on them. Look at this well, Esau, because you're gonna get shackled up too. You're gonna get yokes. What we went through in Deuteronomy 28 is gonna come back. You're gonna suffer Deuteronomy 28. What is that? The 15 verse on down. Look at that. This is what you did. This is what you fucking devils did. But you call us racist. You guys are a bunch of racists. You goddamn right we are. Cause when we put your ass in slavery, you're gonna understand what racism is all about. You're gonna be victims of racism. Look at this. They got women, beautiful woman. She look like a woman. Kids going to slavery, pregnant women. The hell? Let me come on back. Okay, here we go. A bigger, better picture. Which I don't need this. So there you go. Transatlantic slave trade in some American colonies, especially in the Caribbean and southern U.S. The term Igbo or Heebo was used to describe enslaved Heebo people or Hebrew people or Israelites. Many key facts, many Igbo were transported to Virginia, South Carolina, and the Caribbean. They were known for a strong sense of independence and resistance. There was a lot of, they don't speak about all the rebellions that took place. All of these so-called slaves that committed suicide. There are records of rebellions and mass suicides among Igbo captives. The story of the Igbo landing in Georgia circa 1803, where a group of Igbo captives reportedly walked into the water and drowned rather than submit to slavery, is a prominent legend. Because they had that pride, man. They said we would rather die than to go into slavery. If Hebos is a confusion with Hebrews, some fringe or alternative historical narratives, example given in certain Afrocentric or religious groups, suggest that African Americans are descendants of the ancient Hebrews or the Israelites. These beliefs are not supported by mainstream academic scholarship, meaning the white man. No, we don't know. That never happened. No, that's preposterous. It could never. No, those are not the people. Hey, okay, you guys are not. You guys are Negroes. You guys are Negroes from Africa. You're not Israel, okay? And look at West Africa and look at the land of Israel. Those are two different places. So we don't accept their fucking scholarship. Read that again. These beliefs are not supported by mainstream academic scholarship. So what? We don't value them as being anything. They're not special, and you can't argue the truth. It says, but just the facts, ma'am. Don't need the facts. From the movie the TV show Dragnet with I guess guy was Detective Friday or whatever. Anyway, it says, but are important in some religious and cultural identities, such as the Hebrew Israelites. And this chat knows a lot about the One Westers. And you're gonna find out in a couple of minutes. Summary term likely meaning role in slavery. Hebos likely a misheard or altered form of Ebo. Because the Ebos go back to Hebrews. Role in the slave trade. An African ethnic group from Nigeria. You got, like, I was watching Captain Tazari. He said, "No, we're not Africans. We're not Africans." If Captain Tazariak did a DNA test, he'll probably go right back to Nigeria. His father, go right back to Nigeria. It says, so y'all got to come up, y'all got to graduate, an African ethnic group from Nigeria, many of whom were enslaved and brought to the Americas. Deuteronomy 28. Ships, 68 verse. Deuteronomy 28:68 was fulfilled when Jake's from the west, I'll say the northwest, further north than south, and further north, which is Nigeria and those Bantu and those areas. When that happened, that was the fulfillment of Deuteronomy 28:68. It says possibly a reference to ancient Israelites, not directly related to the transatlantic slave trade, but invoked in some cultural or religious narratives. See, if we say something, no, that didn't happen. No, my dear boy, I'm sorry, but you're not the Israelites. Give me a second here. What the hell? Let me know if you were referring to something else. I got more questions. So this is my second question. What is the GMS Hebrew Israelites take on this subject? You're asking about the Great Millstone sect, often abbreviated GMS, of the Hebrew Israelite movement, and their stance on the subject of African involvement and the American slave trade, specifically relating to the term Heebo or Ebo and how that gets interpreted. GMS Great Millstone and their view on the slave trade. The Great Millstone sect is a part of a more radical branch of the black Hebrew Israelite movement. They believe that African Americans are the true descendants of the biblical Israelites. And we have a right to put in a claim. You know why? Because it said, Deuteronomy 28:64, we were scattered throughout the whole planet earth, from the one end of the earth to the other. So anybody can say that they're Israelite. I was watching a part of a video that was put up by the elder out of the South Kakalaka, and it was a Jake woman pretty much saying, "Oh, you guys believe you Israelite because of the white man." In other words, I might even go to that. I might even play part of that. And so she's pretty much saying you're not the Israelites and wake up to reality. Well, how do you know? You say we can't prove we're Israelites. You prove that we're not Israelites. Because I can put in a claim. If there's a posted on the wall saying somebody lost their wallet, how many people gonna come claim that wallet? And they know that they didn't lose no goddamn wallet. So we can put in a claim. All has to get mad all they want. Get mad! They just steal that from Nate. While portraying white people as descendants of Esau. Yep. Unlike Ron Dalton, he thinks that so-called white people are the sons of Japheth. He's old school Israel. That's old 70s Israel. My parents told me, you know the white man is the sons of Japheth? It often associated them with evil or demonic qualities. Well, what have they did? What did this white man do? Nothing but evil. How did he get this country? Slaughtered the indigenous people, went over to Africa, West Africa to be more exact, and put us into captivity. These are good Christians. They adopt an apocalyptic worldview, dealing with the end of the world, prophecies coming to pass, Revelation, Roman Catholic Bible, the book. When you go to the Book of Revelation, last book, the name of the book is the apocalypse. Apocalypse worldview, expecting the downfall of the U.S. Babylon, and Babylon is coming down. We believe that Nero Trump will usher in the chip, and then he would usher in and welcome with open arms the missiles from Russia and other sovereignties that possess these intercontinental ballistic missiles to completely annihilate Babylon the Great, and the return of their version of their version of Jesus. Everybody got their version. Their version of Jesus, which is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Via it's going to be armada of UFOs. Armada. Look that word up. Led by Yahweh Shai. Second in command will be Michael the Archangel, also known as the Prince. That's in Daniel 12. Prince, the great Prince. What is the definition of the word Prince? Son of a king. Is Michael the Archangel? Is he a son of the Most High? You damn right he is. But he just happened to be in the spiritual realm. We are spirits living in a material world. Sting sung that song. We are spirits in a material world. Our spirits in the material, which I believe Sting is a Jake. He definitely got to be a Jake. I'll meet him. I'll tell him. I say, you one of us. You ain't a white man. You Jake. You know, musically he sing his ass off. The Police, the West Indian group, but they were based in merry old England. What's the part of England? Somebody help me. I can look it up, but somebody help me in the chat. What part of England? That part is you had the Irish descent. A lot of them people, working class people. It said they frequently drew parallels between the enslavement of the Hebrews and the transatlantic slave trade. This includes interpreting biblical prophecy, but which Christians have. Christians are clueless when it comes to the prophecies. The prophetic books, they're clueless. They're hit or miss. They're more miss than hit. Particularly Deuteronomy 28:68. Deuteronomy 28:68 was fulfilled when the so-called white man made a deal with the Arabs. Where did Esau learn about slavery? The business of slavery. They learned it from the Arabs. The Arabs have been doing it for thousands of years, for millennia. As a direct reference. So guess what? What do you think gonna happen to the Arabs? They're going into captivity too. As a direct reference to enslaved Africans being transported to America, Deuteronomy 28:68. echoing ancient Israel's bondage. Moreover, these beliefs are shaped by pseudo historical narratives. Pseudo meaning against, like anti, to them, to Esau. Oh, this is poppycock. This is BS. Excuse my French, but this is BS. More. Oh, you know what? You know these Edomite women. They fantasize. They getting with Jake. They getting with Jake. They getting with Jake. And if they're not with him, they fantasize about him. Now Esau, the Edomite woman, when they look at Jake, they see superheroes. They don't look at Esau as a superhero. When they look at Esau, they see Clark Kent. When they see Jake, they see Superman. They see Kal-El, all powerful. Kal-El, look it up. You know what you know what to do? Let me do this. Let me do this right here. Bear with me for a minute, y'all. Just bring this up. Put all. I said this yesterday. I want to prove it. Prove all things. What is Superman's name on the planet Krypton? Not interested. Kal-El. Kal-El. His father's name is Jor-El. Kal-El in the Hebrew is Kal-Allah, which means all powerful. So when they came up with these comic, what's the guy, the Russian guy? I don't know if he's DC or Marvel. I don't keep up with the comic characters. So it says on Krypton, Superman's name was Kal-El. That's Hebrew. Kal-Allah, all powerful. This was his birth name given by his parents, Jor-El. Yara Allah, he sees God. And La-Ra, that's also Hebrew before they. La-Ra, it could be La-Ra, which is 2T, before they send him to earth to save him from the planet's destruction. His Kryptonian name is Kal-El. The name Kal-El is sometimes interpreted to mean star child or something. Said no, it means, it's Hebrew, it means all powerful. So when these Edomites, they fantasize about Jake, they look at Jake, they look at Jake as superheroes. We motherfucking superheroes. And they realizing it. Edomite women want to get with Jake to have babies. They know they ain't gonna make it because they're Edomites, but their children will make it because guess what? Your children will be Israelites. Steph Curry should have got with a decent Edomite woman instead of that bitch. That nigga multi fucking millionaire, man. You know how many women fantasize about getting with that dude? A handsome man. Oh, I really never loved him. I keep telling you, boneheads. I keep telling you, boneheads. Stop dealing with these chaos goblins. You got to get with the queen. Look up the word queen. It means whore. Okay, let me see. Their interpretations. Slave people from the present. Some. Let me come back over here. Excuse me. Forgive me, y'all. Moreover, these beliefs are shaped by a pseudo historical narratives and conspiracy theory perspectives. For example, that Jews control or design the slave trade. Yeah, they took all that information up. A lot of those slave ships were owned by other Europeans, but some of them were small hats. Or that Jewish identity has been stolen by non-Israelites. Yeah, they're saying they're the people, they're in the land, but they're not the people. Can some of them, can a certain percentage of be? Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Absolutely. On Heebo, Ebo, and their interpretations, the term Heebo or Ebo is historically used in American context to refer to enslaved Igbo people from present-day Nigeria. Some Hebrew Israelites factions extrapolate this into broader identity claims, posting that Igbo, sometimes spelled Ebo, E-B-O, or Hebrew, are literal descendants of the tribes of Israel, and that's exactly what they are. The literal descendants of Israelites, particularly Gad or other lineages, are citing oral tradition, cultural parallels, and local lore. Well, it's through the spirit. We woke up through the spirit. However, it's not clear that the GMS specifically focuses on this Igbo Israelite identity narrative, while GMS does broadly parallel the Hebrews' slavery with African American slavery. There's no direct evidence that they emphasize the Igbo or Hebrew connection in the same way as some other more culturally focused groups, whatever the hell that means. Summary breakdown topic: identity claims. What GMS believes: African Americans are the true Israelites. White people are Esau Edomites or the Edomites. Slavery narrative. What's GMS belief? Enslavement of African Americans is foretold in the Bible and parallels Hebrew bondage. Deuteronomy 28 and 68, prophetic, seen as prophetic of the Atlantic slave trade, or an Heebo or Ebo, not specifically emphasized by GMS, but broadly overlaps with identity claims. There goes identity claims. Anybody on the planet Earth can say that they're Israelites, but it's a matter of it being proven. And what's our documentation? What's our proof? The scriptures. We don't have a record genealogy. Scriptures tell you that about endless genealogies. With identity claims and other Hebrew Israelite circles, methods, pseudo historical interpretation, pseudo meaning fake, pretty much, and conspiracy oriented teaching, often extremist and apocalyptic. Good amount of information. Contest and criticism. Scholars and critics widely regard these claims as historically unfounded, right, meaning they didn't find it. Yeah, because you ain't looking for it. You ain't looking for it. And if you find it, you're going to throw it away. Calling them pseudo-historical or revisionist. Right, revisionist meaning to look back at history. You know, you have the historical view, and then you have the conspiratorial view. Like John Wilkes Booth, I'm sorry, shot Lincoln. Oh, he did, some crazy guy shot him. Then it come to find out that he was working for the bankers, international bankers. And um Lincoln was going his own way. It says in note that there's no credible archaeological, linguistic, or documented evidence linking West African groups directly to the ancient Israelites. The Southern Poverty Law Center, which are controlled by small hats, and other uh, classified groups like GMS as classified groups like GMS as extremists. I don't know what that word extremist means. It just means the end of something. That's all it means. They're extremist radicals. They've been radicalized, citing their hateful rhetoric, anti-Semitism. We're Semites. The word it's not Semitism. It's Shemite. Shem. The conspiracy theories about Jews and white people. Yeah, they're the Edomites. Can some of them be Israelites? Of course. Like the comedian Jon Stewart, I believe he's an Israelite because he was dancing with this choir behind him, and that motherfucker was rhythmic. I said, this dude is a Jake. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I can know you're Israelite just by the way you dance. It's just how rhythmic you are. Because Edomites are not rhythmic. They dance to the beat of a different drum. Online observations highlight how GMS uses biblical literalism to support radically charged, and hostile narratives. Our narratives are radical and hostile. If I'm reading a book and you look at me, I'm going to put you in the face type of thing. Especially in public preaching and street outreach. Final thoughts. Isaiah 14, 1 and 2, especially 2. The people, not so many words. We're going to put the people that oppressed us, we're going to oppress them. Revelation 13, 9 and 10, mainly 10. Anybody that leads us into captivity, we shall put them into captivity. Isaiah chapter 60, the whole chapter. Isaiah 49. Isaiah 61. They're going to build up our walls. Isaiah 60. Deuteronomy, what is that? Deuteronomy 30, verse 7. They're going to suffer the same thing that we suffered. They're going to experience Deuteronomy 28, verse 15 to the end. It says, final thoughts to sum up. The Great Millstone Sect, GMS, frames the Atlantic slave trade as a fulfillment of biblical prophecy, and that's exactly what it is, drawing moral and existential parallels to the bondage of ancient Israel. Yes, we are the descendants of the ancient Israelites. They believe African Americans are the true biblical Israelites. We are the true biblical Israelites. While some Hebrew groups highlight the Heebo as a lost Israelite group, GMS doesn't appear to specifically lean on the narrative. Their focus is more broad and symbolic. Let me know if you like to explore what the Hebrew Israelite factions say about Heebo identity or get into the historical critiques of these interpretations. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom. On to the next. Give me a second here.